Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. We are here for Love is Blind Sweden season 3. The weddings. The weddings happened this week. The fittings, the weddings, and the endings of relationships happened this week. And Sweden, you gave us a whole lot to talk about. And I told y'all that I had the same bride headpiece that Angelica had at the Bachelorette and the same veil, and I decided to wear it. But y'all know the veil comes out when it's wedding celebrations. So this should be nothing new. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that like button, okay? Make sure you hit that like button. You are subscribed to the channel, and we will get into it. Ari, how are you today?
As I was telling these lovely people behind the scenes, I was listening to the music to get into the headspace because these people. Ugh. So that should let you know everything you need to know. Hey Cheryl. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. As Forrest Gump would say.
Okay. Hey Trey, how are you? I see you toasting it up already. It's kind of early. It's 6 o'clock somewhere.
Well, let Zaddy bring the energy for y'all this evening. It's good to it's good to see everyone. Glad to be here. I actually enjoyed myself these last 2 episodes. I found it a hoot. I was laughing, probably inappropriately, but I was laughing. So let's have a
Not
good
you
time.
laughing. You was laughing. I was irritated. So at least one of us got a laugh out of it. So
I was like, no, this is too funny. This is too funny.
Trey, there are other names I would call you if I wasn't calling you Trey, and that isn't one of them. But we shall leave that.
Thank
there.
you.
Queen L said you are exempt because you only have one Zaddy. He's your king. We all bow down to him and you. Okay, you understand?
See what I gotta do with behind the scenes, y'all, because this is what I'm talking about.
So y'all, we are here to talk about the weddings that could have been, never was, and that happened. Okay, so on that note, Ari, where would you like to start?
I guess we can start with one of the two people that dropped like flies, as Trey was saying. Lars-Erik and Ronja, I suppose.
Oh, you wanted to start there. Oh, okay.
Well, it's either them or Daniel.
Okay. You made your pick. We good. We gonna start off. Gonna start off hot because Lars-Erik was crying every time we talk about my religion. It's an attack on my character. And all Ronja, finally we hear. All Ronja wants to know is if our child was part of the Rainbow Coalition, would you love our child unconditionally? Or would you think our child is going to HE double hockey sticks? And he said it is not for him to judge. Now, y'all can figure it out how you want to, that he ain't answered the question or it was edited for, to push it in a certain direction. Y'all could talk about it, but go ahead, Ari. Talk to us about why Lars-Erik and Ronja didn't even make it to the wedding date, though they tried on outfits.
Like Angelica and Ellen, she didn't want that man. She knew she didn't want that man. I think part of her was using religion as a reason not to really stick with him or try to work it out. But with that said, she did have a point with the whole, if our kid is gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, and I even brought this up to you last on Friday. What if they happened to be transgender? Because I took it a little further beyond that myself. But what are you gonna think of our kid if one of those things comes to fruition? Are you gonna just cast the God? Because at some point your child's gonna want to know that you love them regardless, and that the parent-child relationship is one of the few, or the only one, to be quite honest, that has unconditional love in it. Besides maybe God himself with all of his children. So, so you essentially moving the goalpost and try to put it on God is not going to help your child if they're gay, bisexual, lesbian, or transgender. And, you know, I know some people might use scripture to try to in a way say that they're sinning and they're just going to go straight to hell. So I understood what she was trying to say in that instance. I just think that in some way she was trying to use religion sort of to kind of, I don't know, it's just not really try to work it out.
She was using religion as the side door to exit. Okay. At Tara's world, it wasn't a trick question. Lars-Erik has a very strong religious stance. And what I have learned from folks who have been wonderful in my comment section said that, you know, his church where he comes from is a very strict Catholic congregation, is the best way to say it. So she fears that if their child is gay, that he would take his church's stance against his child. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know the full conversation. We don't know the full response, but it was enough for her not to want to stay. But we do acknowledge she never wanted this man. Trey, what were your thoughts on these two?
First off, I'm gonna address this from a slightly different angle, and by starting off by saying it was a foolish question. The reason why it's a foolish question to bring up at this point in time, these were questions that you should have had when you first got with him in the pause and y'all was having these discussions. He told you he was a very religious man, but all of this just has escaped your mind now. Oh, well, now we need to talk about it because it's an issue. Whatever. Okay. As Elsa just stated earlier, you was using this as a reasoning to slide out the back door without just putting on your big girl panties and saying, you know what, this relationship doesn't serve me. I wish to leave it. You trying to find some reason to do so. Let me be even more specific, okay? I can understand. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say two things. Lars-Erik answer was absolutely correct. The way he answered it left it a little wanting. Let me explain. He was absolutely correct when he said specifically, it is not me to judge. That is up to God. If you go to heaven or not, I am not one to sit in judgment. That is true. Especially if you are a religious person. One thing you learn, and I think that's one of the faults that religion falls into, they're quick to slap judgment onto people, and that goes against God itself. You do not have that responsibility. You do not have that power. So he was right when he said, I can never have that answer. I don't know the answers because whether they're gay or not doesn't matter. Whether you go to heaven or hell, if there is a heaven or hell, it doesn't matter. That's going to be on them. Now, the way he gets wonky at is when he said, which he was right to do this, but it was still wonky. She did insinuate that he was trying to say that he wouldn't love him. He was like, I never use those words. And he didn't. So that tells you there she was trying to get it out by making him say something that honestly he probably doesn't believe. What he did say was, and this was the problem. This is the only problem I saw. When he said, I probably would still love them unconditionally. What you mean probably for, bro? That was the issue that she didn't lock in on because she just wanted the problem to be her way out. Okay. And she did use it, but like I said, it felt hollow. And I had to kind of look at Lars-Erik, like, I get you, bro. Because look at the way this went about. You obviously, even though I can see in the back of his mind, he knew he made the wrong choice when he chose her over Danetta. He knew he did. But he was still man enough to be like, I made this choice. Because he does like her. But he made that choice. So he's going to follow that choice through.
Trey, that's the other angle.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel? Or how was it, meeting up with Danette? What was his response?
Yeah. It was, honestly,
shaky. It was shaky.
Yeah. But he answered it as I would think any guy or girl that answered these questions in Love is Blind history. Whenever this has come up, it has always answered the same way, whether male or female. Shaky at best. Shaky at best. Because you did have another connection with this person in the past. That's a fact. An emotional one. It ain't just physical one. An emotional connection with that person in the past. That's a fact. So yeah, it's going to be weird. They come around, you see them, and it's like, ooh, okay, yeah. And that's what you said. It was weird, You find somebody that he possibly had a connection with, and we agreed on this, such on these things. It probably would have been easier, but this is what he was trying to clean himself up. He didn't want easy. He wanted you. Which put her back in the hot seat. Like, now I gotta be the bad guy. I'm sorry, baby girl. You was a bad guy from the very beginning, like I've been calling it. You just didn't follow through with it. You use him saying, writing a note to you that I love you to crash out on him. Ever since then. You the one that said, oh, my, one of my love languages is physical connection. And this is what he brought up. Hey, you said this about yourself, and you have not done any of that. I've gotten the opposite from you. What are you supposed to do? He's been holding up his bargain. Now, I said from the very beginning, they never should have been together. He should have made another choice. Okay? But he made this choice. And all I can say is I might not agree with everything he has done and said, but he has actively tried to be in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say the same for Ronja.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say the same. So.
Yeah, and the thing I went back
but
and
he was right with his answer. And it's not up to you to give judgment because that's.
Well, yeah, and like as Rosha brought up in the chat, she wanted to be physical with Aaron. And the thing I re-noticed again when I went back and watched the bachelor party, she came in, put on the mask of Aaron, and then when she took it off, faked like she kissed him. Like, girl, like, because Elsa brought this up because Lars-Erik is a typical Scandinavian sort of name, whether it's in Sweden, Denmark, wherever, it's still a typical Scandinavian sort of name. And I was kind of telling her offline that I can't tell if she was fetishizing him, Aaron, because he's clearly mixed in some sort of way or the different ethnicity. So I don't know if I don't want to say she was doing that, but because that's a little harsh to me. But she definitely was attracted to him in some sense of the word, and she wanted to be physical with him. And why Angelica was not picking up on that. I don't know, but you know, at this point, it is what it is, because she didn't even end up with Aaron. Angelica didn't end up with Aaron anyway, which we'll get to later. But yeah, I girl was hot in the pants.
What people were saying in the comments is that Lars-Erik traditionally looks like the Sami people, which are the native people, the indigenous people of Sweden. That's what folks have put in my comments. And when, most people, okay, this is the people from the comments, that when most people see a Lars-Erik type of or style name, it gives you Viking. It gives you the long blonde hair, blue eyed, and we are seeing for many of the ladies on the cast that is a preference. Okay, so even so, Lars-Erik is not the traditional. He doesn't look like a traditional Lars-Erik style person. I'm wondering why she is kissing up the cardboard face of Aaron at the bachelorette party. He is not the Scandinavian look either. So what is, does Ronja know what she wants? Or is it just because, as you say, hot in the pants because he's 6'8" and the pants fit big, so everything else is bigger? I mean, why is she all on Aaron like that? It don't make sense.
She thought he was putting motion in the ocean and could blow her back out, like I just put in chat. So I mean, I'm not saying that it's true, but probably what she may be thinking. I mean, just like that's why I'm like, I don't know if she really is attracted to him like that fully. She just wanted to try some things or something. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what my part of my gut is saying, but I don't know. I don't know, because she's a weird one,
right? Because there's a difference with complimenting. Say, hey, you got a good-looking dude. It's something different than, oh, he's hot. He's this. It was overboard.
Yeah, that's
overboard. Knowing that this man is engaged to another woman that you call your friend, it was overboard about how you were complimenting him. And how many compliments did we hear from her about Lars-Erik? I'll wait. How many compliments did she give Lars-Erik? All she kept saying is, move away. I'm talking to Aaron. Why are you interrupting? I'm talking to people. You are interrupting. She didn't want him around her. I'm sorry. Trey. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was a little too hyped.
I mean, no, you're good. This is just speaking to an overarching bigger problem we've been coming up here and there. Now you're showing up in international versions too. They are finding a lot. Forgive me. They are finding a lot more unserious women, just as they got unserious men to come on this show, and it's starting to show.
Well, a little Swedish birdie, tweet and told me that everybody was. It was very few that applied to the show. People were asked to come on the show.
It tells. It absolutely tells.
I don't know how true that is, but that was just a little Swedish birdie.
Well, the country ain't that big, so unless they're branching out to Denmark and other Scandinavian countries, sounds about right.
Y'all make sure y'all hit that like one good time, please, for us. Trey, or is there anything else? Or can we pack them up and put them on the shelf? Because they did not even make it to the wedding.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I did have one. I wouldn't. It probably won't happen, but I wouldn't be shocked and surprised if Ronja tried to swoop in and pick up the pieces, as to say, So.
Oh heck yeah! Oh heck yeah!
She's gonna be that good friend. Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. Let me rub your back.
If I can reach it.
Let me sit on your lap and rub your head, because you got a bald head. So like, let me rub your head, my guy, and like whisper sweet nothings in your ear and climb that tree. So
yes. just accidentally fall on top of. Anyway, Trey,
How you gonna end on that? What's wrong with you?
why not? We're just saying possibility. At the end, we're gonna talk about the possibilities at reunion time. At the end, when I put up all the couples, we're gonna talk about possibilities. Possibility people dated after the show, or possibility that they ghosted after the show. We kind of know some of the people. But Trey, who would you like to go to next?
Let's go ahead and knock off Johanna and Daniel. Mm. The couple that Elsie thought Ari was gonna say first, but this one that's giving her stress.
Well, this week, Johanna confronted Daniel about the fact that you rather re-enlist in the military at your grown 40 years old than be with me. Okay? And he tried to slide to the left and slide up under that. He's like, it's the experiment. I don't really like this. It's a whole lot of pressure, but you are the best thing to happen through all of this. Please believe me. So Johanna said, I need to go see my mama. Bye. Mm-hmm. And then she met up for coffee with him. She did not show up to the dress fitting. And they met up to talk, and she gave him his ring back. She slid it on the table, and he left it there. Trey, what were your thoughts on these two? They didn't even make it to the dress fitting.
Well, it's about daggone time. What else reason did you need? I don't understand. Like, listen, you knew it was, I brought bad when you actually met that guy and got to know him on that trip. Because, like I said before, Johanna was my favorite, but her desperado came out when, back in the pies, she couldn't get who she wanted originally, and she had to settle herself for the leftovers of Daniel that she was put on to. And she blinded herself to the truth that Daniel was, because he never hid himself now. He never hid himself. She never got onto the truth that who Daniel was in the pies. Because clearly it's the same guy there. He's the same guy outside. So, sorry, girl. What's up? Like, you could have slid out a long time ago. But you gave it a good old try, so maybe I give you that. Gave it a good old try, I guess. And it didn't help the fact that she felt abandoned, in the spirit of Eastern, she felt abandoned by the women, by the sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? Especially that last episode. She was like, oh, nah, none of these chicks my friends. Ooh, because if you notice, in these particular situations, they might try to get the person to talk to another cast member before they make a decision like this. I think it's very evident. She was like, nah, I ain't want to speak to none of them heifers. Nope. I'm out. Okay.
They turned on her. They turned it around on her.
And I'm be honest with you, I said it last week. They probably should have, because she didn't give proper context to that whole story her daggone self. So I'm sorry, boo boo. You have to wear it out. Okay? You have to wear it out. But yeah, get the heck up out of there. This man is a little unstable. He doesn't have all his marbles. He's a little bit of a lost boy. Don't have a mommy. Has a mommy, but I think he has a mommy, but don't have a mommy. Something's off. Something's really off with Daniel. Like,
I would have liked to have met his brother, because he keeps talking about his brother. So
yes,
we didn't get to meet anyone. But after he tries, I think half-heartedly, to get her to stay and not pack up the suitcase and go by her mama, he went, before she even left the apartment, he was back on the balcony calling somebody else.
Yeah, calling him. I think it was his brother again. Like, he really? Listen, it don't go all the way up there. His elevator don't go all the way up. I'm telling you, something's a little off. Okay, it stop at the 19th floor. It don't go to the penthouse. I'm telling you right now, something's off. It was. And the only thing I say about Daniel, somebody said in the chat, at least he was his truly authentic self all the way through. And there's very few castmates on all of Love is Blind that we can say that for. There's very few. So I gotta put him up. Yeah, at least he was himself all the way through. Never lied about it. Okay. So yeah, he is a different cup of tea. He's gonna have a different type of woman to deal with him. Just Joanna's not it.
Not the
Unfortunately.
deal, not the deal with him. Okay.
Yeah, come on. He's a hard pill to swallow. Let's keep it real. Okay. Even
He's
though
asking
he's himself,
AI. He's asking AI how to be emotional.
it's too telling. I truly believe him. Maybe this is why, even though it was harsh to hear, I didn't. When I thought about it, I kind of understood the military content or the context of why he made that statement. Because usually the military, how can I put this? The more independent thinking, or I wouldn't say that, the more independent acting you are, the harder military life will be for you.
Right. You got to
Not
be part of the team.
Yeah, not thinking, because you could think, you could be a very independent person in your mind, but it's one thing to think it and it's one person to act on it. If you're an acting independent person, military life ain't gonna be for you because it's gonna be extremely different. It's gonna be dress right dress. They tell you where to go, tell you what to do. The only time you start getting some of that independence back, or you earn some of that independence back, is when you do go up in rank, because it's
Okay.
there's certain challenges and responsibilities that come with it.
So two things. Is that why he prefers being a Toastmaster to weddings? Because there is a set format, there is a schedule and structure to it, but then there isn't a
Dress
structure
right
or
dress.
anything to being a salesman. You have to pull on people's emotions. So those two don't
I
quite
don't think
fit.
he's the salesman. I don't think he's the salesman. His brother's the salesman
Okay.
of that
Um,
business.
Welcome in a smooth 14. First time seeing you here. Welcome on in. Daniel is the Swedish version of Giovanni from Love is Blind Italy. And y'all know how
I don't
we
know
feel
about that.
about Gio over here.
I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that. Gio actually had intelligence. He was just a narcissist to the highest degree. Okay, that man actually knew what the heck he was talking about. As crazy as it was just all about me, regardless of whoever. It got to be about me. That was his issue. But I can't make the same statement that he was missing some brain cells. Nah, he wasn't missing brain cells because he knew exactly what he was doing. You know,
Putting on a
Daniel,
show. But Daniel
yeah,
was edited
Daniel,
to be the villain that Gio was.
I can see that. At
Yes.
least they tried to. I don't know if that fully worked. Did it fully work for y'all?
No, no. And it worked for a lot of women. A lot of women in my comment section have really gone after him like if
Mm,
he was worse than Giovanni. Though I can see his being distant and him giving her an ultimatum and all of that, I just think Daniel is an emotionally distant man and he's not all in. And with him not being all in and emotionally distant, there's nothing to build off of. You can't get to him and he can't get to you. That's all I think. He's just emotionally distant. If you ask an artificial intelligence about real human emotion, we got an issue.
hmm
We got a
He's never
serious
had to
issue.
develop it.
But then I need your relationship history,
He's
and this
never
is
had to
what
develop it.
I've been tiptoeing over into the Swedish social media. Luckily Daniel does follow me on TikTok. I follow him as well, and I'm creeping over there, and I see the emotional distance. I see, it's not very flamboyant, but he shows you his life, and he goes out to eat. It's very structured, and I was like, it's very
hmm
curated, I should say, and it's like. Is there no emotions there? I would need his exes to step forward, at least one, to step forward and see, was he emotionally invested, or is it that he got hurt by one person and he shut off all his emotions? I don't know.
I don't think many of them will because then they have to admit the fact that they dated Daniel. So it's gonna be like,
Ooh,
I don't know about that.
yikes.
I mean,
Yikes.
I
Okay.
mean, I mean, think about it. In these particular situations, when you have a guy who obviously people don't like because he's very standoffish, unemotional, too blunt, arrogant. Usually in these situations, especially when the audience is not liking them, the S's are ready to come out the woodworks. Okay? Usually in these situations. The fact that they don't is usually two different things. Meaning usually two things. Either number one, they really don't have much to say about him because that's just who the person is. Like I said, that's why I say he is who he is. He has shown you from day one. So there ain't too much you can talk about. The only question would be, why did you even stay in a relationship or be in a relationship with him in the first place? Or number two, they don't even want their name attached to it because it's like, oh my God, I was foolish enough to try to date him. I ain't trying to have that on my belt, on my docket. So they're just quiet about it.
But Trey, in all of the Swedish seasons we have seen, and that's very interesting. In a lot of the international versions, exes don't step forward.
That's true. This in
Exes don't
America we
step
had an
forward.
issue.
Is it an American issue?
Yeah, it's kind of an American issue. You got a point there. We're terrible.
Ooh.
It's kind of an American issue. Like, yeah, we're terrible.
We are. Ari, what do you got to say about Daniel and Johanna? Finally, the day done?
And maybe, okay, so be kind of transparent here. Maybe the reason why Daniel annoys me way too much is because I'm not as emotional as a lot of women out there. Because people say women are more emotional than than Trey. Turn off your camera, please.
Neither am I, Ari. Neither am I.
I can't stand your faces right now. Stop, please. Turn off the camera because you're distracting me. I'm not going to continue until you turn off the camera, my guy.
Oh, come on, son. Oh, kiss her too more. I'm just playing. Go ahead, continue.
Do that one more time, I'm just going to beat myself. But, yeah, so... And that's something I'm trying to actively kind of work through is like expressing myself a little bit more. Because and my upbringing could be different from his, which I'm maybe assuming a little bit too much that it is different. For me, it was mainly because, I moved around a lot. Not because I was like a military brat or anything, but I just moved around a lot. Didn't really feel safe enough to open up too much. So that's my past and I'm willing to share. So, and I'm trying to work on that. However, he seems stuck and not wanting to do that. And he's like damn near 40, if not over 40. I think he's like 42 or something like that now, by now, or 43 at the time, right? Like currently, because I don't know. I think this was like film last year, but he doesn't seem willing to do much of changing, trying to work on it. And honestly, and this is where I differ from Trey, I don't think he's as dumb as Trey is portraying him out to be. Personally, I think he definitely knows because I think you have to have a certain level of intelligence to be able to do the whole military thing and, navigate that whole, damn, okay, damn. Trey's like, well, no, ma'am, no, shut up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Essentially what he's saying. Like, I think it's, yeah, but either way, regardless, I think he is not as dumb as Trey is making him out to be. Yes, I'll agree. Emotionally stunted as all get out. Emotionally stunted. I'll definitely agree with that with both you guys all day, every day about that. because he even said to himself that he didn't express himself well growing up, and I'm assuming it's because of his mom or something, or someone in his parent groups didn't allow him to speak too much. Whether it's mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever, didn't want him to say nothing, like be seen and be not heard, sort of thing. So
here's my little monkey wrench in that for y'all. Wasn't he very emotional and very, very moved by how this was not working for Ludwig? He was a little emotional. He even called Johanna over to have a conversation like, I really feel for the kid. And he was emotional. So is it that he can feel emotion for someone else and not dive into his own for himself? Possibly, y'all. We don't know him.
That may be. I see what in his own words, in this process, this is the most emotional he's ever been, or even ever had to have been. You know. Also, this is kind of a half joke. I was surprised no one said this earlier. And I thought about it weeks ago, but I didn't say it. But I was like, "Yo, he from a different perspective, not telling his own story. Let me take you on the journey. Not taking on his own story, but from a different perspective. He is Forrest Gump with an ascot.
I need something to hide behind. Like,
if you think about it, the main reason why, if you watch that movie, I love that movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. But the main reason why you fall in love with Forrest Gump's story is always told from his perspective. So you go on the journey with him. You understand him and his trials and his pushback. But let's keep it real. He was a little. We
slow.
call it on this, we call it putting on spectrum now. He'd be autistic, but he was a little slow, So on the outside, even though you always try to be kind and courteous, to people you might come across, think about back you was in high school or junior high, whatever, and you had the kids that went to the alternative classes. That's what they called them in my school. It was alternative classes. They were always, I'm gonna be honest with you, they were always looked at a certain type of way. But we always got on people that tried to pick on them. Like, no, you don't pick on them. That's not right. This and that and third, yada, yada, yada. But they were looked at in a certain type of way. A little about myself, the main reason why I got to know some of them very well was, one thing, I had a speech impediment ever since the first grade. So I went to speech therapy all the way up until about high school, actually junior high school. By that time, I didn't have a speech impediment anymore. I could, I didn't have to attend speech class, but I kept going anyway. Number one, to get out of class. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I want to get out of class. But number two, I actually enjoyed helping some of my classmates with their speech impediment because I understood it. Mm-hmm. And one of them was a friend of mine that I've been friends with, even to this day. We've been friends since kindergarten. I've known him since kindergarten. And he got put in alternative classes because, honestly, it was because of his speech impediment. It's going to be very difficult for you, to engage with a teacher and go back and forth if you can't even understand the student. Like, you ask him a question, he's steady stammering, you got 20, 30 other kids that you have to get to as well. So unfortunately, I saw him get placed in alternative classes when, honestly, mentally, I don't think he should have been there. But because he got put in those classes, I saw him mentally and emotionally stunted throughout the rest of our school year. Even though I stayed his friend, I would talk to him after school, we would hang out. I just treated him no differently, but I still observed this. So The only difference is Daniel has come from privilege. You can't forget that.
Mm, you better
He's
tell
come
it.
from privilege.
Privilege.
So he may have had some of the same issues that I have stated out, but because he came from privilege, he's going to be he probably had different advantages that others would not have. So when I say, he comes across a little dumb, and I do make jokes about his mental capacity, I am serious about it, but it's mostly about his social interactions. Socially, he seems very stunted to me. He's
Well,
not used to being in, even though he's a toaster, if you look at it, when it comes to one-on-one interactions, group interactions, actually talking to someone, getting to know them, that's when his deficiencies show up. When it's just in a group setting, just talking and talking about things, having a good time, he knows how to cover that.
Okay, so yeah, I'll agree with you there because like maybe this is where I should have asked more questions. I was thinking you were actually saying like legitimately like
A little
Forrest
bit,
Gump level
a little
intelligence.
bit,
I don't think that, but
a little,
I will agree
little bit.
with you that socially when he's like one on one with somebody, he's stunted, very stunted because he's not picking up on context clues with Johanna.
Mhm.
I'll definitely agree with you there, and I'll agree that in a group setting, he seems to flourish a lot more because I think he's more of a social butterfly and will go to different people and be able to talk about X, Y, and Z, several different topics. So I think he kind of strives there a little bit better. But I don't think he's able to pick up on one interaction socially, especially with like when it comes to romantic relationships.
well,
Yeah.
we saw he had a deficiency as well in the conversation with the men. And that's where I saw it was quite startling. That's why I want to know his dating history, his relationship history. Because at this stage of the game of information and everything out there for a man currently dating in his 40s that don't know anything about love languages,
hmm
and when
Even in
Ibrahim was
passing.
trying, right, and everything Ibrahim was trying to explain to him and Aaron too, he made a joke to throw them off of that. And I wondered, I'm like, does he not think that these guys who are younger than him could teach him something? Does he not want to learn it? Or is he hiding the fact that he has a deficiency and he don't want to go into detail about it?
This is why I said him being from privilege plays a part in this. I see him as he was very much protected at a certain point in his life from certain things. They knew it, the way even the comment that he said his mother made to him. I found a very strange comment to make to your son, but given a certain context that she had to accept her son may be behind in certain aspects. Here's the thing about when we talk
Say
about
the comment,
autism.
Trey. People may have forgotten it. Say the comment.
You may be a little behind a little bit, but because they come from privilege, that was protected and hidden probably for a long period of time.
Wasn't he also the one that the mama said his accent is a condominium for women?
Mm.
It's a repellent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I said,
Like
Dad,
Forrest
on
Gump.
it.
Like Forrest Gump.
Woo!
Like Forrest
Okay.
Gump. You hear Forrest
Okay.
Gump talk, you're gonna be like, until after a while you just sense the junior nation of here's the problem. He he has a level of arrogance, but I can attach that directly to him being privileged in a lot of
Yes.
things.
Yes. Oh,
You
totally.
you take that away, he comes off as more of a little boy that needs teaching.
Mm, mm.
You know, that's if you think about it this way. Most when you, especially in today's age, about 2010s on up, when they finally got the level of autism, what it is, it's not third. You notice This, at least from my standpoint, because my youngest son almost got labeled as autistic. Okay, let me say with this. I noticed that most autistic kids and adults, they suffer from a lack of attention spans. It's, when you're trying to teach someone something, math, English, literature, it doesn't matter. You got to have a certain amount of attention span to learn that said subject. When you're dealing with a person where they literally can't keep their attention on something, it's going to be hard for them to focus and learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I'm sensing from Daniel. If you notice, it's very hard for him to focus on a conversation. He'll start talking about it, then he'll make a pivot and talk about another aspect of it. And then he'll probably eventually try to double back on it. Because Johanna said something to him while they were talking. She said, I feel like you're not hearing me. We're talking in circles.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they literally were talking in circles, yet he kept bringing back up the fact, oh, but you said you want to be recorded. I'm glad we came back to that. I'm glad we agree on want to be recorded. I was like, bro, yeah, his lack of focus and attention span was telling to me. It was so telling.
Oh yeah, definitely saw that part with Daniel. We saw it in the pods, and we saw it even with his conversations with the men, y'all. And this is, again, we always emphasize this is an edited, produced show. We are commenting based on what we have seen. Okay, we are not, we don't know Daniel. We just know what we have seen of him and what they have presented on the show. Ari, was there anything else you wanted to say before we move on to the next couple?
Say it, Ari. Say it. You want to say it? Just say it.
I think the reason why I don't necessarily believe he's as stupid as Trey is making him out to be is because I don't believe that he's that stupid. I think he's acting. I think he's putting on a front. Because he was like, oh, I didn't see you there. Like, he knew that she was going out to get some food. He knew that he was going out to get some food. She was going to get some food. And yet he went on, he claimed it was, I butt dialed you and I showed you a place or whatever, and I sent you that video or whatever. That, like, I don't buy that it was a butt dial. And he just, and, so.
Is it because he don't have much butt? I mean.
I did not say that. You did, okay? I was not thinking at all. So mute yourself, please, if you don't mind. But yeah, no, I don't think that he's as obtuse as he's trying to make himself out to be. Socially, emotionally okay, I can get it, but he's not dumb. He's just not dumb. I don't think he's that dumb, and I think
he's smart enough to slide out of conversations he don't want to have.
I'll put it to you like this. Ari, I agree with you, but I'll put it to you like this. Is you stupid or something? Well, stupid is and stupid does.
That's my favorite lines. But I don't think he's. I think he plays up being dumb, but I don't think he's as dumb as intellectual. Like, 2
out of 3,
you outnumbered Trey.
That's fine. Hold on. I just say this: was Forrest Gump stupid, or was he a genius, or was he both?
Maybe both. Maybe both, but
people held him up to be genius.
I mean, I think he wasn't.
But that was a reason why. There's a reason why. If you perfect scene, and like I said, to me it explains Daniel so much. Perfect scene. When he was in the he was coming from Vietnam and he was healing up and getting shot in the buttocks, and the man showed him how to play ping pong. He gave him specific instructions of how to play the game. Whatever you do, don't take this out of this ball. I don't understand, but ping pong came naturally to me. If you notice, Daniel was the same way in certain situations. If you give him specific instructions, If you show him do this exactly this way, this and that third, he'll follow that game plan. Think, oh,
Or he
I had
may
to
let
ask.
you, or he may let you believe he needs instruction.
I
Yeah, and
had
that's
to
what I
look
think
up AI. I had to find out
that
AI what
no,
emotions are.
that's what I think it is for me, Osid, is that I think he feels like he needs that much direction, but he doesn't actually need that much direction because
Right.
you're telling me at your age of a big old 42 that you don't know what love languages are at this point. Like it's been around for a couple of years and not a solid 10. So you're telling me you don't know nothing about that. Like I don't
I
buy
got
it.
you,
I'm
Ari.
sorry.
I got you. I got you, Ari. I got you. Let me hit you with this one. I'm
Oh,
not
here
a
we go.
smart man, but I know what love is. You're right. He is not that stupid, but that doesn't mean he. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say something else. He's not that stupid, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have some type of deficiency that has been covered up, or he's never had to face it before. And
Well, the
number two,
emotional attachment, the emotional deficiency.
I think
and
he
number two,
knows what to do, but he doesn't have the drive to do it. That's I think my issue is like he doesn't have the drive to want to do it. Like
here's number two. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. Let's really get with it. I got to challenge y'all too on this one. Let's really get with it. I can understand the reticence of how y'all feel about this because it might mean something. Let me break it down. If it comes, we don't like that. I've been on point. I don't like this dude. So off by him. Just that third's crazy. Get away from him. Problem. But I can still take a step back and see what some of the issues might be and maybe how he can fix it. Here's the problem. Okay, here's the elephant in the room. Y'all both have, you know, professed your issues with Daniel. Okay, but let's keep it real. If it did come out that, you know, Daniel probably is a little and maybe has some deficiencies and this and that and third, how would we feel about it? Could you go as hard on him as we have been for the last few weeks?
I will go be big enough and say I will take everything back. I will say I was wrong.
And that's the
I was
problem.
wrong.
But that's the
No, I
problem.
still go hard in the paint.
That this is what I was getting at. This is the reason why I brought up the story of I had a friend, he got put in alternative classes. We all understood some of the kids would get picked on. And there would be some of us that would defend them because that's wrong for you to do. It's the wrongness of it that we feel like, oh no, wait, this person needs to be protected. That's not wrong. They can't be deficient if I dislike them to this. They can't be, because if they are, I can't dislike them anymore. Some people feel that way. Some people feel that way.
Oh.
I said some people feel that way.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell it. You can kind of tell it when you just observe and watch people. They can't talk about they're quick to talk about people, but they can't talk about people if they actually see something wrong with that person and it's like, oh crap.
My problem is that when people do try to instruct and bring Daniel to a certain level, he does not wish to receive that instruction. So that's where my limit is. Like, yeah, they try to help you and you ain't trying to help yourself.
And that's my issue with him. It's like he just like skirt. No, I don't want to do it. Like, I want to like, and that like if he's really wanting to change, like find a marriage, then he needs to change, and he's not willing to do that, and that's why I don't have sympathy for him. So I'm like,
I get you, but has he ever had to face that change? This seemed like the first time he's really had to face it.
Exactly. Well, we don't know their dating history. And that's the thing. We don't know if he has had heartbreak. That's why his walls are this high up. We don't know if he's been vulnerable with someone in the past. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to kind of go there. But we've been chewing on Daniel and Johanna, and y'all know we have other couples that we need to chew on. You know, as they would say in the South, go with God, Daniel and Johanna. Y'all are no longer together. I'm glad she stood up for herself, slid that ring across the coffee table. Because, some women around here like to keep them Love is Blind rings. I ain't going to say no names. Trey. Oh no, Trey, you picked them, right? Ari, where do we go next? It's only two.
I suppose we can go with Annie and Ibrahim.
The only wedding of the season. The only wedding. We made it to the wedding, y'all. But Ibrahim was shaking in his boots. He was having some good old cold feet in the background. And his boys was like, yo, you got the best of both worlds. You get to learn who she is. You get to love on your woman. Don't run now. Don't run. And she pulls out her bingo card of, I'm going to sing to you because I sang to you the first time to get you to propose. And I'm going to sing to you now to get you to say yes. And someone put in my comments that she's a siren because every time she sings, he just do as he's told. What do y'all think? Ari, what do you think about Annie and Ibrahim? He got to move. And why didn't we know that we haven't finished our residency? We got something else to do.
I was like, where? I mean, because he made it sound like he was done, like he was a full-fledged surgeon, which was, I'm like, why didn't you?
Yeah,
I think he's a surgeon in training still. That's what I got from him when he said he was in residency.
Intern. Once you get past your intern, you're technically not a training surgeon. Your residency is used to prove that you could be a surgeon on your own for certain, some amount of time until you make what's the name? Intern residency attendant until you become attendant.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Still like, usually 10 to 15 years. Kind of lie.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I'm saying. Like he's still in the transition to become like a full-fledged surgeon. And so I'm like, why didn't you say this? Like, I would have been. I mean, I was still like somewhat on his side because it's like I understand, like, because coming from a person who is moving around, like moving around, like I don't want to, like I guess he didn't want to be moving around a lot and want to stick it out to like. So that he can become a full-fledged surgeon. So I kind of understood that. Like he didn't want to be interrupting everything because like what I was thinking is like he had a plan before he went on the show, and he was gonna be there for in wherever he is currently or was currently at the time, and he was gonna be there for a little bit and just stick there. And so she's like, well, I need you to come to Stockholm. I was like, well, I kind of understood like you're kind of uprooting your life, but then he's like, well, I still got some months to go until like I'm past my probationary period. Is basically what he implied, like what, or at least the caption or the subtitles were suggesting was that he still had a probationary period, so to speak. And like, well, why didn't you just say that? Like shit, like. I still think that Annie was putting a little bit 10 on 2 because like Elle said, I think in her video or on Friday that, well, it's not, she's acting like it's going to be forever, and it's not forever. It's okay. So maybe it's not as quickly as you want it to be, but it's still not forever. So why are you like making it sound like he's going to be there? He's going to stick in wherever he was before the show and not even gonna move at all. Like part of me still does think that he doesn't really necessarily want to move, but you're making it out to be that he's saying without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not gonna move. Like let him try to finagle and figure out how, like, where he's gonna be, because it's like he can't just be a regular physician. He's training to be a surgeon. And the way Annie made it sound, it's like, well, you're a doctor, you can do, be a physician like an ER or like a pediatrician, like that's a different thing. A surgeon is a specific skill set in being a doctor. So you can't just, like, what if there's no openings in Stockholm anywhere for a while? Like, you're gonna have to wait. Like, what he's gonna do, just sit on his ass and just like not do anything? Because then you're gonna be resentful because he's not working. So possibly, I'm gonna say possibly, I'm not gonna say full-heartedly, but possibly you might be resentful of the fact that he's not gonna be working because he can't find a job in a specific skill set, which is a surgeon. Like, so what then? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I see both sides. So
I
unfortunately.
understand. I'm with you. I put a poll up, y'all. Are they still married at the reunion? At the reunion, are they
Mm,
still married? Yes or no?
uh, I
So,
don't know. I don't know because it's dependent on if he truly is capable of wanting to make that change, not just for himself, but for the betterment of his relationship.
but is it better? Is it better in Stockholm than where he is? And how do
I
we
don't.
not have this conversation in the pods? How do we not know that your residency is not only ends in August, but you need to give 3 months notice? How, you see, this is where I get on Annie. Annie, you wanted to marry this man so much you did not ask the details.
I
When
think they did.
can you move?
I think they did. I think he did. The feeling I was getting
Okay.
from that conversation, it came up, but this is the first time in detail the reality of it has to set in. I think
You
he
mean he
did.
just said I can't move right away and she just didn't, you know,
Like actually
He,
listen.
he probably told her, "Yeah, I gotta still okay. Is it time for me to go? Because I'm gonna break this down a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Everybody cool? Okay.
Hmm.
First off, uh, funny as kept. To me personally, this is one of the greatest weddings of Love Is Blind history. I really enjoyed that wedding. It really was for the vows. But we'll get to that in a minute. Going back to their problem back in episode 9. Okay, he is a surgeon. Point blank period. He's a surgeon. He is not an intern. He is in his residency, and the way he's talking, he's probably in his 4th to 5th year. Probably his 4th to 5th year of residency. But he's not an intern where he has to hold his hand and be with an attendant every 5 minutes when he's doing surgery. He's doing surgeries on his own. Yes. Hold on, we gotta let me break it down and break it down for everybody to be broke. You gotta do the on the end. Broke. Okay. But here's the issue. What he actually is talking about is passing his boards. That's what he's talking
Okay.
about, for in his
Hmm.
program. He's coming up on his boards. It's very serious.
Hmm.
The reason why he's a little iffy on it, because you don't know if you're gonna pass them boards or not, even if you think you're good, whatever. Yeah, that's how serious those surgical boards are. Okay. Yeah, so he's like, I gotta pass the boards first. It's almost like passing the bar. You could take people have taken the bar multiple times and not failed the first time, have to do it again, and then you have to wait until you're eligible to take the bar exam again. Same thing for the
Hmm.
boards. It's not something that's come up every year. You
Hmm.
have to be, you just can't automatically get it. Once you get assigned, hey, your boards come up. If you don't pass that first time, it may be a couple of years before you're eligible of taking the boards.
and before you're given permission to take it, it has to be signed off by a surgeon you've worked under. So it
Chief
may be
resident.
another reason why he doesn't want to move because it'll be under someone that doesn't know his work history.
Exactly. Chief of surgery usually have to sign off on this stuff for you to take these boards. Okay. Now, here's where the interesting thing comes in at. Okay. When they waited, that's why I say I think they talked about this in the pods. And I knew it had to come up. But this is also why I want to give him a little bit of heat. Bro, you had a lot of this coming up. You should have never even said the phrase of, yes, I'm willing to move.
Exactly. That's why I give him he too, because he shouldn't have said
Okay.
that at all.
This is where I give him heat at. You never should have said that mess. This is why I say I think this conversation just come up. I think we got a piece of that conversation while we was back in the pods. He probably brought all this up. He's coming up for his boys and this and that and third. And he probably said afterwards, after that's all said and done and settled, he will be more open moving because he will be literally able to move. Because after he takes the boards, but he was in the 5th or 6th year of residency, he would try to be up for attending by that point, which might take another 2 or 3, 4 years. But he is able to at least maybe go to and work out in a hospital without being locked into that hospital's surgical program. That's the
Yeah.
problem. He's locked into that hospital's he's currently at surgical program. So yeah, he's right. I gotta, take the exams in August. Hopefully I pass. That's number one. Number two, I think when he said he had to give 3 months notice, I think that's what his leasing price for his house. That makes sense. Got to give 3 months notice for that as well. He doesn't want to commit fully connect on that until he knows he has passed his boards or not, which makes sense. Now, here's where the things get interesting for me. Okay, all of that made sense. After he finally explained it, I was like, okay. And the way he was talking about it, was like, we've talked about this before. I've told you. I went, yes, this has come up before. They're just now deciding to show us for dramatic telling. Now, here's what things get interesting for me. City girl Annie. Okay. I find it so interesting that City Girl Annie in the beginning of this was a little bit more standoffish than he was. If you notice, there's been a tonal flip in their relationship. Because in the beginning, she was the one that's a little more standoffish. City girl. As time went along, where I think in her mind, oh no, I can see this. There's a path for this. Yes, I can make this work. Okay. She locked herself in. Now she's doing everything to lock him down. Okay?
Like sing.
I'm telling you. Now, him on the other hand, he's actually thinking about this like, yo, and it leads back to their conversation. Yo, the more they're bringing up about me moving this and that and third, he's realizing like, oh man, this is a lot more difficult than I think it is. This is not simple because it's not. It really isn't given his circumstance. This is not simple. I just can't up and move. I'm literally locked in, here at least up until a certain point. And that's dependent on a few things.
Well, Trey, we didn't hear what his colleague at work had to say.
We probably won't. Which that was another funny thing. He said when he told the colleague what had happened, I got engaged. The colleague was happy until they found out, oh no, you may have to move to Stockholm. Oh no, the colleague was like, hey bro, you can't move. We in this, we locked in this and that. You can't even think about moving until this such time. And that was part of reality when he hit, like, crap. He's right.
And Annie don't want to hear nothing other than you're moving, honey.
Yes,
you're moving.
But I can't. I want to give her smoke for that, but I can't give her smoke for that because she said in the very beginning herself that she was unwilling to move from Stockholm because her business was there. That's where right. She's an A&R.
She was up front.
She's up front with that. So I can't. I'm like, okay, listen, and bro, you said you'd be willing to move. So, bro.
I mean, and that's why I was like, I can see both sides. Like that, I'm like, should never said nothing to her about yes, I will move. Look, it died. Like you had one job, that was not to make any promises you can't keep.
Well, that's the thing.
But she's saying to him,
he can keep the promise. It has to be in a certain time frame, and this is where the issue's coming up. Is she willing to fall in that certain time frame? It's looking like towards the end here. She's like, you know what? To get what I want out of this, yes. I just need a definite time. You heard of what she was saying. I need a definite time. Well, it sounded like February. It's that she gave him the grace period. It sounded like February is when we're gonna be looking for you to move.
6 months.
I don't know. She sounds like she wants it like tomorrow.
Right now.
Yeah,
right now. And I'm like,
but she ain't gonna get that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like she can't get that, and that's the. I think the problem is that he was very vague about. Yeah, I think he was very vague about. Well, I can do this, and the vagueness sounded to her like, well, I can do this in 30 days. And that's the problem. Like he wasn't very specific,
No.
and
This
that's
is
the
why I
problem.
said.
But did
This is
she
why I said I
ask?
think it was.
That's the
That's the
problem. No,
other.
she didn't.
Did she?
She didn't
Did she
ask. That's
ask?
why. That's why I said in her mind it was like she already made up the timeline for him because he didn't
Yes.
say nothing. And
This
so
is
instead of
why.
him,
This is why I say I think two things is happening. From his standpoint, that I fully believe. I just my thinking. I'm how they've been acting. This was brought up in the pods. This was brought up because this is too big for you not to bring it up. But this was brought up in pods, but it was just talked about in kind of a passing way. Like, yeah, I can move. I just have to do this, and yeah, and we can make it work at this point in time period.
That's why
She
I
didn't
said
take it. Yeah, she
that
didn't take it.
colleague
Yeah,
told him some
like hold on,
layers he didn't consider.
that, and in her mind, she just planned it out. Okay, around this time, cool. But when you get into the details of it, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like, hold on. Okay, and that's why she also gave another time frame, which he was unwilling to do. Which I ain't gonna lie, given his situation, I don't think he really can do. You can give an estimate, but it's not going to be concrete. Not until he passed the boards. When he passed the boards, then you could probably give a little bit more concrete answers. Until then, and then he was right when he said, "I still have to find a job in Stockholm."
exactly.
Yeah, he
That's,
may
that's
be
what
a
I was saying.
surgeon. He may be a surgeon, and but still, each hospital have a certain amount of space for a certain amount of people, surgeons included, to be on their payroll, so they make big money. So you got to have big budget.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like what if they don't have anything for like a year or longer after he, was able to pass his boards or whatever, like whatever he needs to do. Like, is she gonna be upset because he is gonna be
Without a job, mooching off
job,
her.
yeah, jobless? It's like,
because here's the thing: since he's a student, he's a resident. How much money he got?
Yeah, and it's like
because they made it seem like he's a surgeon and he got some money, that he has some savings that he could live off of. I'm not saying he's a brokey, not by a long shot, but again, it brings to mind. I thought he was a surgeon. They kept showing him as a surgeon, but now I know you're in your residency. Yes, they are paid, but they're not paid at the level of an attending surgeon.
Yeah, like
be. Right. He is still in the midst of his education. And that gives a different flavor to it. And it's like, yeah, how are the two of you going to come together? That's why I had to put the polling question. Do y'all think they're still together by reunion? Because quite frankly, I don't think he can move in 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And that's why I'm like, it to me, like, if he had put like a maybe, I would have clicked that. But I can't say 100% yes or 100% no. It's honestly just depending on if they can actually effectively communicate and come to a consensus together.
Right.
And
right. It can work.
And so maybe I can, give an answer. It's like based off of what we've seen, perhaps no, because it doesn't seem like they're actually communicating. So maybe not.
I mean, it can work, but he seems a quite tied to the hospital and the community that he's a part of where he is. And that too is another level. At least during this time on the show, which do y'all realize we didn't see much of them interacting in Sweden as much as the others, yet Ibrahim, we know, isn't working. So he clearly has the time to be interacting and exploring Stockholm and having a look-see as to whether he wants to be here. And I'm like, and we ain't seen much of them because everybody else had too much drama.
He probably took some vacation time during this time while he was on the show and took some time off to do this.
And they can film in the daytime because, she's A&R. She took some time too.
I did a quick calculation, and from their currency to USD currency, he's probably just over $100,000 a year right now. He's just over $100,000 a year as a residency.
We don't know how much he has in savings.
That's true. I'm just saying that's around the clock. So he's not hurt.
Right, that's why I said he's not a brokey. He's just still in the
No.
midst of his education.
You know, it's going to be different when he hit attendant at some point in time.
Right.
Yeah. But
Right.
he's okay. He's more than okay.
It is totally worth it to stick it out.
That's why I said there's a total shift with her. She did the calculation for her life. She was like, "Oh, I can't live a city girl life for the rest of my life." And I got an out of town boy. He don't know my city girl lifestyle like that.
You don't know the miles that I have run.
Man, listen.
Damn.
I heard this the other day. It was messed up to say, but it messed up when I say this. Everybody quick to say, you know, who's a HOE and who's not, whatever. If you, unfortunately, what you do follow you. Okay, if you want to escape that, go out of town and find you a partner. And that's exactly what she did. And now she's trying to lock that down.
My grandfather used to say that you cannot outrun the train tracks you have laid.
And that's facts. That is facts.
I like that saying better. I like that saying better.
It's poetic. It's poetic. I was a little more to the point, but you know, it's yes. You can't outrun the train
when
track.
he would look at someone and say they have lanes of 50 yards of hard railroad track, you know exactly what he's talking about. As you said, but again, we have to look culturally. This is a little different. And the wonderful people of Sweden who have come into my comments, and I always say, no matter what Love is Blind version I do, I always love to hear from people locally. They do not judge based on that whole city girl life thing.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They do not judge. It is a free and open marketplace. Just cut off connections cleanly and don't leave situationships open. They do not judge your laundry and what lines it has been hanging from.
That's beautiful. I need to move to Sweden.
That's what they say. Well, that means that the Carfax ain't following them, Trey. You ain't gonna know.
That still don't mean they don't want you. You know what I hear when you just explained that? I believe it is beautiful, but it also tells me it's built that way for you because they don't want you to know either.
Right.
They don't want you to know.
Right. As they shouldn't. The past is the past is the past. We're gonna
sweep this. We're gonna sweep this under the rug.
Yes.
We'll leave it there. The only time is I can see where this couple could possibly work, but it's gonna take some work.
They totally can work. They all they can do for me is communicate, keep an open mind, and be open with the communication. This is what I need. This is what I do. And they both have to sacrifice. Is it her coming to the weekend to see him? Is it him taking a couple of days off when he can go to see her while they wait for the time where he actually can move? I think it can work. Here's my thing. Sweden, you have spoiled me. You have spoiled me rotten that every reunion, there's at least one bride about to drop a baby. And Aniela, I'm sorry. You are the only bride of the season. So you may be breaking the streak. There's no pressure, but we got Amanda the first time. Okay.
Well, Amanda
Karen,
she looked really good. She looked really good, even with her puffed up cheeks. She looked really good. I was like, oh.
Yes, Amanda did look really, really cute.
I love her back tattoo.
Karen looked good. You know, those are two brides, y'all, that were pregnant season 1, Amanda, and season 2, Karen. Both had their children, very healthy.
Well, there was the Rasmus and his wife in season 1 too.
They were after the altar. They weren't at the reunion pregnant.
Yeah,
I thought she was
after the altar, which we did not get after the altar for season 2, and I'm upset about that. Sweden, again, you have spoiled me rotten. I need an after the altar before the new season starts, and I need somebody dropping a baby in the next 5 minutes.
But let's get to that wedding party and his friends. And boy, why did it seem like that's why I said go ahead.
You have spoiled me, Sweden, and you have spoiled me rotten. Why were the men not dressed up? Why were the men not dressed up? I am used to the Swedish bachelor parties. They put on the wigs, the fairy wings, and everything, and they're doing crank calls. I have been led astray on this one. Y'all haven't been doing. No wonder this season is carrying on. We didn't get that from the men's and them. But yes, his friends. Go ahead, Trey.
The only number one, the only suit I liked from all the men was Ibrahim's. I hated everybody else's suit. It's just me personally. I hated everybody else's suit.
He picked it.
I hated everybody else's suit. I just did. Ibrahim's suit, classic, bow tie. It looked great. He did look like a James Bond character, out of the villain or the hero. I hate the shoes. I hate those plastic looking. I've always have. I hate the plastic tuxedo, black, shiny shoes. I hate those things. I really do. You should have picked another shoe or something stylish. But everything else, it fit. It looks nice. Cool. I was like, at least he's going to be the best dressed as far as the men at his wedding. But him backstage with his fellas, and it seemed like he was trying to find a reason for them to, hey bro, talk me out of this. Talk me out of this, please. Hey, you got something? Hey, ain't it kind of crazy that this happened too fast? What?
Is the car running outside?
Like, bro, it was
Mom,
so much.
Dad, save me. Mama's like, I trust my son. You know what you need to do.
It was so much so that I had to stop. I was about to say, oh no, he really don't want to do this. But I had to stop myself and I went, wait a minute. It was so much and so on the nose that I went, is he being prompted by production to act like this? Because this seems a bit
too much
staged. It just felt a bit staged. Okay? Especially conversely how his bride was acting. She's like, oh no, it's gonna be a yes. I know it's gonna be a yes. It's locked in. Nah, I ain't playing that. I ain't even worrying about it was gonna be a no. No, I ain't gonna hear that. It's a yes. Like she just knew. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Y'all trying to set me up for an okie doke. Y'all trying to set me up for an okie doke. I felt it.
Right, and the long pause, I left it in there in my little clip. So y'all, I'm about to close the poll. Let me see what y'all did. Okay, y'all did 62%. Said yes, and 38% said no, they're not together. So again, we have a lot of hope in this couple, our only couple of the season. And let me also, Rosho, thank you very much. Shout out to the real couple of the season. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. And Trey, you may want to close your eyes because you know what we do when we get certain monetary contributions to this channel. Yes, we get a little twerk for you. Thank you so much for dropping them dollars on the channel. Thank you, Rose Show, always supporting. Okay. Yes, it took him forever to say, I do.
But I do have to say this. This is why I said in the beginning, this was my favorite wedding to date on Love is Blind. Because, just me personally, was because Big Mama did her thing. I was like, wait a minute.
Big Mama.
I was like, hold it. Big Mama did her thing. That was a Big Mama move. She took, like I already said, she took all doubt. He could not say no. It was impossible. It was impossible. From the way she started her vow, I was like, okay, this sounds about to be pretty good. And then she went, you know what? I finished the song that I started for you in the pause. I was like, what's going on here? What's about to happen?
You're going to marry me today.
What? And then she started singing. Well, I went, oh.
With the acoustic guitar.
And then it felt even realer when she laughed at a part of the verse that she had wrote because it was funny. I was like, oh, nah. They cut to his parents. Hold on. So did you notice that they had the brides and the grooms on the opposite side? That
opposite side, yes.
That was weird, but okay, whatever. I let it go. But they cut to his parents. Even the dad's like, oh, that was really nice. The mom was crying. I was like, oh, no, it's over. Nigga, you can't, excuse my language, you can't say no now. He crying. I was like, and you couldn't help. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, damn, am I feeling emotions? Oh my God. My eyes, they feel moist. This is beautiful. I was like, nah, this is big mama moves right here. Simple,
My eyes are raining. My eyes are raining.
Raining. That was big mama moves. She knew what she was doing too.
My favorite of Sweden's weddings, Jacob and Carolina, even though they are divorced today, I really like their wedding. And Rasmus and Christy. Those were my favorite weddings because I thought he would never say yes.
Nah.
Woman, your dog don't know how to behave because you don't know how to behave. Ouch.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny. But no.
Well, he wasn't wrong about that. So
nah, he wasn't. But this is my favorite because she played big mama moves and it absolutely worked. I was like, I couldn't be able to say no either. I can't. What? This woman's saying to me. You're a grown
man, Trey. You can do what you want.
You right, and this woman's son to me. I gotta, nah, I can't.
Trey,
son to me well.
Trey A. Smooth is agreeing with you. The quality of the suit always shows how serious they are about the relationship.
True. You put some effort in it, especially for the men. It's a kind of quiet thing. It's tough. They don't really talk about it much, but the more the men put effort into their suits, or at least they try to, yeah, I could say, yeah, he care about this. He trying to look good and be presentable and blah blah blah.
I find it interesting that they were able to find a suit for the last groom, but we'll get there. Is there anything else for Ibrahim and Annie?
I wish. Okay, I'm gonna hope. I'm going to hope.
Yeah, I'll try to hope that they're gonna communicate well and come to resolution. Because they're actually really cute together, but it's just the communication part that's the issue.
We gonna round it out at the end. So the last one, Aaron and Angelica, and if y'all would notice, I have the same bride headpiece and veil Angelica had at the bachelorette party. I said that looked familiar, but I didn't have this piece with me on the road. Or else I would have worn it for my recap and shown y'all it's the same thing. Okay. In this one, everybody is telling Angelica, this is the man for you. This man is calm. You are wilding out and you need him. He is steadfast. She, from the time of the walk in the park, from the time she saw him panicking, we knew she's a runner. She's a track star. This young lady waited till the day of. Everybody's telling her he is good for you. You are used to blonde hair, blue-eyed chaos. That's what the friends have said. Chaos. Her daddy says she used to be with men who are liars. And yet everybody loves Aaron, and Angelica can't bring herself to that point. Okay? No wonder she has no response to Ronja kissing his cardboard cutout face and all the compliments that Ronja is saying. She ain't uncomfortable because she didn't want that young man, sorry to say. And yes, it is sad. It is sad to say, it is crazy, Trey. It is sad to say that she took him to the daggone gardens that they were supposed to be married in. And you should know as soon as you want to meet with me before the wedding.
I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, I was like, uh-oh, we in trouble.
And here's where I had smoke for her. You mean to tell me you come here, you telling me you love me and you don't want to be with me and it don't compute? The man wants to talk to you and you all of a sudden, I don't really want to talk about this. This is all too much. Ma'am, you're the one breaking up with him. So put on your big girl pants and sit in the foolishness that you have created and clean it up. Clean it up. That's where I was really too through with her. And I was as confused as Aaron. But, hey, shout out to Aaron. Aaron be in the comment section. We didn't understand what was going on from the park to here. Okay? Trey, you want to give, the smoke first?
Actually, I would like our dear Ari to go first because she said she has some evidence for me to prove that I was wrong last week. I'm guessing about Angelica. So please, prosecutor.
Hold on. Welcome on in, 404. Welcome on in. This is your first time in our chat. Welcome in. Thank you for your comment.
Yes, prosecutor, state your taste so I can defend properly.
Okay, so I will start off by saying that I think her biggest issue was that he didn't have a plan with his job situation. And Elsa mentioned that, like, she questioned, like, well, what's your plan, my guy? Because he didn't really lay out a plan all that well for what he was going to do to get his, business up and running and all that. So I think that's what gave her pause. However, I think also big chunk is that, like her friend said, she likes the blonde hair, blue eye guys. And that added to, like, compounded on the issue at hand, is that she said she was fine with the whole job thing, but she really wasn't. And so that compounded on the not being the blonde hair, blue eyed, typical sort of like Lars-Erik sort of guy she was looking for. And so now, and then she latched onto the tall part. And so because I don't think she was, that's why I think she wasn't physically attracted to him. And that's why I was like, and that's why I think she was hyperventilating at that reveal, because she saw that she wasn't physically attracted to him. And so she was like, oh shit, I said yes to him and I can't go back on it because now I'm gonna look like the bad guy. This is where I compare her and Ellen, is that Ellen wasn't physically attracted to Fabian, and she was softer in her. She seemed softer to me, not as bad as Angelica, but still kind of pretty bad. But she was softer. She didn't seem to be hyperventilating as bad as Angelica. That's what I'm saying. Like, she wasn't hyperventilating. She was kind of hyperventilating, but she wasn't doing it as badly. And so her and Ellen are two sides of the same coin. And so, but it's just Angelica was like the Daniel of the women, is that she was over the top about everything. To me, at least.
For the Swedish folks listening, please do not come after Ari because she thinks that, Ellen is softer than Angelica. I know how y'all feel about Ellen right now. She's public enemy number 1 in Sweden. Okay. So when you say it's softer, I was just shocked at that.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that she wants to, and she's used to the chaos. She's used to the chaos, but she's also wanting the blonde-haired, blue-eyed man. That's why, because why else was the friend bringing that up if it wasn't true?
Here's the thing. Aaron, has played a basketball career internationally. He had a career internationally. He is not, a man without funds. Yes, I understand it can be a little bit different. He is trying to get a business off the ground, but this is where you got to step into a little bit of faith. He's not going into it with no money, with no assets.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think that he doesn't have the money or the assets. I think that he just doesn't have the plan structured enough for Angelica. And that's what that was the seed, and the fact that he was not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed man that her friend was talking about was the biggest part, or at least a good chunk of it.
And sometimes the best laid plans go up in smoke. So I understand where she may not have felt safe. He is going to be moving internationally, but this man has said this from the pods.
I know.
From the pods.
And think of it like this. If y'all watched Married at First Sight with Noi and Steve from I think the second Boston season, Noi was the same way. She didn't like the fact that Steve didn't have a concrete plan, and she didn't have something to go on.
He didn't have a savings account either.
Yeah, and so if
Aaron
you watch
has
that season,
funding from a career.
Okay, I'll grant
I'm
you that.
saying,
It's just,
if Aaron goes out there and his business fails, Aaron is not going to be destitute. So I understand and appreciate hey, I don't know if his business is going to kick off the ground or whatever, but the ending of his business, if it does not work out, is not the end of him financially, is what I'm saying. It is enough to go out on a little bit of faith a little bit like, let's give this business of yours 3 years. Let's give it 3 years. And let's see how much you're going to invest.
And that's what I think. I don't necessarily feel like he said that, and that's what gave her pause. Because I don't feel comfortable saying that that's what he said, because we didn't see that. All he said was that he didn't really give much of a plan that we saw anyway. And so that's why I was like,
yeah, I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of his plan, because it is a new business venture. And again, you don't know how much of it they cannot show, because it is a new business venture.
Okay, true. And so hopefully he gave her more of a concrete, like, even if it's like a bare bones thing, so that way she can hold on to that a little bit. Because I think that was the issue, like the main issue for her. And it just compounded with the fact that his looks weren't up to snuff for her.
But Ari, would she listen? Would she listen to him?
At the end of the day, I don't think so. Because he used the chaos.
And that's where the crux of it is. Even if Aaron had a solid plan and he had the yellow brick road laid out, I don't think she would listen. That's not what she wants. It does not fit with her plan for her life, her social media, and everything. Remember, she needed her friends to co-sign. Well, if my friends don't like you, Aaron is like, I shouldn't give a daggone.
And she still didn't want to fully commit, because her friends were, the fact that her friends were on board was like, well, damn, I can't come up with something else to kick him to the curb. So, like, I mean.
And I was confused when the friend said she was a people pleaser. I said, well, Aaron ain't being pleased.
Well, yes.
Aaron is not being pleased around here. In what way has she been a people pleaser for Aaron? Aaron has been the one to capitulate to everything Angelica wants. I'm just like, people pleaser where?
We got a new member. The ladies, baby. We got a new member, El Cid.
Oh, yes. Welcome, 404 JT. Welcome to the L Citizen. You are an L Citizen. Guess what? We get wild on a Monday night, okay, at 8:05 EST. You could go back and see some membership videos. That's where grown folks collect, over 18 only. And we love to say thank you with a little bit of shake. Thank you. Let the bird shake. Welcome on in to being an L Citizen. As you see, I get a little hyped when I'm talking about these shows. And
we all folks, do. So you're in good company, because we all do. So
yes, in great company. Welcome aboard. Go take a look. See, tomorrow I have a special treat. I have to curate a show for y'all tomorrow. I'm not going to tell y'all what the theme is, but I've been asked for a certain theme. But getting back to Angelica and Aaron, my frustration is I didn't see what her friends see. I just saw a woman constantly running away from Aaron. Okay. The best thing she ever did was that cake testing with Aaron, so we could do our own poll and see what cakes everybody in the audience likes. That's about it.
Okay, so I'll maybe what they mean by she's a people pleaser is like she will be a people pleaser for the people who bring chaos. Maybe not for the Aarons of the world, but definitely for the chaotic people.
So you're trying to say that a very domineering man would keep her, for lack of a better term, in a place, and that's where she's comfortable. So a man not being domineering, she's kind of floundering and doing her own thing. She don't know what to do with freedom.
She doesn't know what to do with herself, because she kept harping on him. He's too calm for her. Like, she don't know what to do with herself. Like
she keep testing. She keep testing that calm. That ain't
and that's what I'm saying. That she's trying to make him chaotic so that she can people please him. Like that. I know it. Like, it may not make a whole bunch of sense because you're healed, or more like. At least
I'm a little touched too. Don't.
But you're more healed than her, and that's why you're not seeing it. That's why you're not seeing it. Like, it makes sense to her that if you're chaotic, then I'm gonna do whatever I can to please you.
I can see her thriving in the chaos, and I could see her thriving in chaos. There are many people that thrive in chaos, and they cannot thrive in the quiet. I understand that. Thank you, Miss Honey. Like David and Alyssa on Married at First Sight Australia. Y'all, I also do that on Sundays. Again, I can see that and I appreciate that. But to push someone's buttons And I'm sorry, sorry, we don't know Aaron, but Angelica, Aaron is a strange man. You met him 3 weeks or 2 weeks ago in the pods. He is still a stranger. To have a man at 6'8", you pushing his buttons to get him to react, that is a dangerous situation. I'm just glad that Aaron is the calm man that he is.
Not with all of the touch, Cheryl.
Is that our new motto around here? We're all a little touched.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself and get off my soapbox and let Trey go ahead because I feel like he's itching to kind of say something. So
yes, he is itching. Go ahead, Trey. He had a few sips. This is the last one.
I'm sorry. I take baths. I don't have itchy moments, but whatever. Thank you, counselor. Judge Elsid, ladies and gentlemen of the chat jury. I believe, the prosecution has tried to insinuate that this young lady, the defendant in process, is in some ways, they've tried to insinuate from every way, shape, and form that the things that she dislikes about Aaron or not attracted to him or because of his job, it seems as all a deflection to take away from the fact that she's the problem. And has been so from the very start. This is why I used the word. Earlier, I made a statement saying that it seems there's been a concerted effort to get more unserious women. Angelica was an unserious woman for this process from the very beginning. Okay. And you can just tell from her actions. She never thought this was going to even get this far. Now, interesting thing is, she had many chances to just walk away. If she so choose, many chances. Let's start with the first issue. Now, I'm gonna give Counselor Ari her point in saying the whole issue with his career going forward and his possible unsteadiness about having a career afterwards and coming out of basketball and everything. It was a good point because it was something that they set up in the very beginning. But I found it very interesting that, at least editing wise, we never went back to it. Ever. That tells me a few things. This was to what Elsie Point was trying to make. He probably did have a plan, and he did, and he addressed it in the pause because he told right then and there. Coming off basketball career, I got a business plan for this, so that third. He didn't want to go into detail on the pods, whatever, but he said, and I quote, after we get engaged, whatever, I will go into detail with you about what my plan is. He told her that. I almost have every confidence that conversation happened. That conversation happened. So I don't think this was necessarily a money issue. Okay? Because walk with me. This reason I'm leading this is leading to someplace. Okay? Number 2, the attraction level. I can go as far as to say Aaron may not be her usual type. Usual. Okay? There's a reason why I said last week I think she dates a certain type of guy. Preferably an ugly guy with blonde and blue eyes. Okay? Also, they're probably a couple of a-holes and chaotic. And that's the main reason why her friends don't like them. Because that's what she's used to dating. And I said last week.
And her daddy don't like them either.
Nope. But I said last week, the main reason why she probably likes dating them is because they will always leave her in the position of being the victim. Or, oh my God, look what someone has done to me. Why can't somebody see me the goodness I am? When you're always dating someone that is more chaotic than you, because let's not forget, in her own words, she's a chaos woman. She's chaos. But she's always dated people that's more chaotic than her. That says a lot. Now you meet Aaron. Okay? He's calm, he's cool, and he's collected. Okay? Period. You're not going to do much to move her off his square. Okay? You ain't gonna move him off the square, okay? When she met him, that gaps, I'm sorry. Okay? It ain't that she, you know what? Like I said, I can give you that maybe she wasn't all the way attractive because she's usually not her type. But I don't think that's the point. I think the problem is, holy smokes, he looks way too good when I'm used to dating. It was a quick realization, this man may be out of my league. Period. Okay? He may be outside of her league. I think it's very telling that she tried to find, it seemed like she always trying to find every excuse for him, you know, that, okay, you might not, my friends might not like you, this may not work because of this, that, and third. And yet when it comes time to meet these said friends, family, this and that, and third, they meet him. Holy smokes, we love this guy. He's great. He's tall, he looks good. Girl, is you stupid? Her best friend is saying that without saying it. Girl, is you stupid?
You got yourself an NBA player and you acting up?
And errands don't come around every day. Okay?
And this man love you?
Errands do not come around every day. And the best you got is, oh my God, I have to get a bigger car. Oh my God, I gotta get a bigger place. He's too tall. What?
If you don't mind if I could jump in for like a tiny second.
Yes, Counselor.
And this is what I said, I just put in the chat. Just because you might think that the blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys that she usually goes after are ugly, doesn't mean that she thinks that they're ugly. And that's my point. I don't believe, for me, I just don't believe that she finds those type of guys ugly. And that's why she always goes after them. Because I don't understand why to me, I don't understand why the friend brought it up if she doesn't truly find them attractive. And that's my issue.
The answer, objection. The answer is what I said earlier. The reason why I'll use your statement. The reason why she doesn't find them ugly in her mind is because it always leaves her in the position of the prize and the victim at the same time. Yes, okay. It will always. If she's with a certain looking guy and he's an a-hole, everybody, all the rest of her friends, her daddy, they're like, yo, the men she date is beneath her. The way they talk about them, they are beneath her, literally. So that means not just emotionally, mentally, and physically, they're beneath her, and they're trying to understand why you date these guys. It's ridiculous. You're pretty enough to pull a decent guy. That's especially the way her friend be talking. Especially when her friend is talking.
Okay, and
so that tells me a few things.
Okay, so maybe, and I just thought of this now. I was like, I'm coming at it from my perspective. Like, I can't imagine dating a guy.
She will always have
that's
upper hand.
Ugly. I can't fathom dating a guy who I find ugly.
Exactly,
so that's
like
why
Christine's comment. So you can have the upper hand. If
that's
he's not as attractive as you, you know he better be thankful that you gave him this opportunity.
Exactly. And also, when they F up, because most of them will, you will always be the victim. Look at this particular situation. She's not the victim in this. She's not. And that's what's really bothering her. She's the one having these issues, right? Oh my God, Aaron's this, he's too tall, this, that.
He's not rising to the occasion of being an a-hole, so she could then turn it around.
But when she talks about it to the rest of her friends, even her castmates, they all looking at her, girl, you crazy? He's great. He's handsome. He's amazing. He's emotionally intelligent. But what is wrong with you? This is the first time where it's put in front of her face. Baby, you the problem.
Well,
and probably has always been the problem.
I will agree with you there that she's always been the problem. So
for y'all, here's another perspective, okay? That she could have gotten the bad edit that Carolina got with Jakob. She could have been given because remember, Aaron said as the comment said, Aaron said she has given love like he've never felt before. That he think he didn't deserve. That he think he would never find in this lifetime. So for a man to speak of a woman in this manner, she got to be given something that he is receiving righteously. And he cannot fathom her leaving him.
That's a great point.
It sounds like she don't want to talk to him after this.
That's a great point. That's a great point, but I'm sorry, Carolina didn't get a bad edit. She was just as we saw as she is.
Thank you, Trey. Okay? Can't convince me.
Here's the problem with edits. They only can edit for what you give them.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you. Number one. And that's why it was so hard on David in math. Sorry for bringing that up, but that's why it was so hard on him.
They only can give you what you give them to edit in the first place. Okay?
Exactly.
So either something we see is still a part of your personality. Period. Now they can play with it, cut things off, maybe move it around for this type of context. Of course, we give you that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But if you're still coming off as a little bit of an a-hole, now you're probably a little bit a-hole in real life.
Yeah, which is like,
there's degrees of variation. It might not be as bad, but you still got some a-hole in you. Okay? I said that about Carolina that year. I was like, I don't think she's a terrible woman, but nah. How she's treating homeboy was horrible.
I see you, Trey. I see. Thank you. We own together with Carolina now. We own together.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell no.
So how can she still love him but don't want to be with him?
And she couldn't give an answer.
First of all, she never loved him. Number one, it was all fake from her point. That's the problem with this.
Ouch.
She's been trying to figure out a way to backslide out of this situation because, like I said earlier, she's this. I've been in this situation. I've been in Aaron's situation before. Okay, I know how this goes. She is in a situation. You get with a woman, then the woman finds out, oh crap, I'm the problem. They don't handle it well. They never do. Because usually in most cases, let's be real, in most cases, a lot of the guys tend to be the problem. And it's very easy for them to fall back. Oh my God, I was done wrong, this and that, third, whatever. And you get to gloss over their issues that they may have had in their relationships that might have led to them ending that said relationship. It gets glossed over because he was the problem. He did something, cheated, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So your issues get glossed over. This is the first time where her issues was becoming glaringly apparent.
Yep.
That meeting with her friends told me everything I need to know. Up to that point, I was like, what's going on with this shit? Something is off. Why does she keep pushing him? Why does she keep testing him? What's going on? This is weird. And he warned her. He was like, hey, hold on. All right.
Test me, boo.
And she kind of came off the gas a little bit when he did it, because not the first time he kind of like, hey, put his foot down.
And she was kind of hoping that he would go full throttle at that point.
Yeah, and it kind of turned her on. That was the weird part about it. I was like, be careful with that. Be careful with that. That is turned on.
She was all over him when he slammed that knife down on that cutting board.
Yeah, I was like, girl, what? Be careful with that, bro. Be careful with that one. Okay, I said that. But
can I have a chip?
This is getting to the point. Nah, you can't have no chip. That would have been me. Nah, you can't have no chip. You should have asked for a chip when I asked you first time. Did you want some chips? Now you didn't get one now. What's up? She would have loved me. That was the problem. That would have been the issue. She would have loved me. She would have been in love with me because I'd be like,
this is the second time we're hearing Trey about the goodness of you moving to Sweden. We're gonna need a third.
I'm not. But she would have loved me because I'd be like, heck nah to the nah, and then left you.
How do you like driving over snow and ice?
I'm pretty good actually. I'm heading up north on my next trip out, so we gotta see what's up. New York, here I come. New York, here I come. But nah,
Sweden might be the place for you.
It was just so telling. Like I said, when we met her friends, and I was like, she made all this gloom and doom. Oh my God, I don't know if you like them. They like to go out a lot. This and that. I'm a social light. I was like, okay, you like to be outside a little too much. Okay, that might be a little point.
Yeah, that there it is. That's a part that I didn't even think about their status because of the blonde hair and blue eyes. So,
and I get that. Like I said, I made room for that when I said she might have a preference, but it's telling to me that all of your friends, your family, is looking at your preferences and saying they ain't it, and not just emotionally, they're saying physically they ain't it. So that's telling me you're dating certain type of men. Why are you dating those type of men?
Yeah, I do agree that they have the aspect of the chaos in them, but she's attracted to the physical part, and then she's used to the chaos because that's how they are. So she's used to the chaos with those blonde hair, blue eyes, and so that's why she kept trying to push Aaron's buttons, and that's why she kind of got turned on a little bit when he threw down the knife when he was cutting the vegetables, because he's like, she saw a little bit of that chaos and she hoped it was coming out. So,
Elsie, we should have invited Kojo for this one right here.
Why?
This is a prime example when he keep bringing up. Don't be dating these ugly men that you're trying to convince us that you're attracted to them. Nah.
Kojo is otherwise
like somebody said earlier, you just want the upper hand.
He's otherwise occupied at this time.
But nah.
We all know he like his TikTok chronicles. So yes, this will be a prime example when he said, don't come and say, the attraction will grow.
No. She dates certain type of men for a particular reason. So she can always have the upper hand. In this particular sense, this man is out. I said this last week. This is the movie She's Out of Your League in reverse.
Yeah, because think of it this way. We talk about football wives and basketball wives. Is Angelica basketball wife level? No. And didn't someone bring that up? I thought somebody brought that up. That she was afraid of. Her friends said, "Yes, you're gonna have to be dodging them women. They're gonna be coming after your main girl. You gonna have competition." Exactly, and she ain't like that. If you saw her face, she didn't like that because she's never had to use that. She's always made sure she was the best looking girl that whoever guy she's dating probably has ever had, at least up until that point. Like I said, she dates certain type of men for a reason. And not just for the attraction of it. No, it's to keep the upper hand. And you're right. She does think she's that girl, and she will always be that girl with those type of men. Right. She will always be that girl with those type of guys that she is used to dating. Her friends clocked her. Her best friend know her. She's like, girl, is you even Roger? You got a castmate who's making googly eyes at your fiance. Okay? I'm telling you. And you're not checking her.
That's because she don't want that man. She's not physically attracted to him.
Get you. No. You know what? I'll take what you say. I'm going to take it at heart. I'm going to put it to you this way. She has been too childish in her dating life to even have an adult conversation of what attraction is.
Okay. I'll agree with you there. At the very least.
Childish. Because keep it real. You can't be. Usually, you're not going to catch me in the situations where I'm going to be like, if everybody in the circle is objectively okay, guy talk. If we're sitting in the circle and we say, "Ooh," one of the guys say, "Oh, I think she's an attractive woman." If she is objectively attractive, you ain't gonna find too many guys disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree with it. So she's an attractive woman. The only time when a woman becomes unattractive to me, and it's usually a situation where everybody else finds them attractive, is something about her personality. I got to know her a little bit. I'm like, nah,
Behavior.
it's a turn off for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that was the case for Angelica in this, I will accept it. The problem is she tried to make it the case, trying to point out some things that he does that's attached to his personality. The issue that's coming up with it is all the things that she's pointing out, everybody else is looking at it like that is what makes him great. So if that is what if that is what makes him great, that forces her to take a look at herself and be like, oh, well, wait a minute. If I can't like that, then oh snap. Like I said before, am I the problem? Wait, am I the real issue?
She is the real issue. And the way we have seen that she speaks to him, and that's why I leave room. It could be editing like Carolina, because we saw how Carolina speaks to Jakob. It was absolutely trash until I'm hearing Jakob saying how much she loves him and shows love and shows up. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We have not seen that. But here's the thing.
Well,
we never saw Carolina give me the keys on the phone and walk off from him. No. You know, Angelica was just completely rude. And the other thing is, don't want to take responsibility. When she didn't want to fully take responsibility for ending things at the end, I had an issue. Why are we not sitting here and hashing this out? He deserves an explanation. You are breaking up with him at the wedding venue.
Because she couldn't give him one. Because she knew she didn't have one.
That's okay. Rejection is protection. If you don't find Aaron to be a great catch, every fish you catch doesn't taste good on the plate.
Say that again?
I totally understand. But the thing is, what I'm not going to do is put Aaron on a level of that he's not, a good match for someone else. It's a good match for someone else. Everything that she's saying about him, okay. And I guess maybe because, my full disclaimer, Mr. El Cid is more like Aaron. He's calm. He's calm, cool, and collected. I ain't pushing buttons, but he would, pull me back from the ledge when I'm going a little too far. But I'm not going to be pushing his button. Like, can you pass me a chip? First of all, I have give him his chips, and I'm going to keep the rest of the bag because I want to ask you for nothing. But that's just my toxic trait.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, if I had been Aaron, I would have been like, I would have given in to her and been like, "Here, dang," and just threw the whole bowl at her. But that would have given her exactly what she wanted. So it's like, I
would have poured the whole bowl onto her plate. But that's just me. But he did his little drop. He did his little drop ship.
Oh, you throwing it at me now?
And here's that. Angelica is going to create a narrative. When she said you're going to throw it at me, I said that is dangerous speech. That could have that man hemmed up, people thinking he's a certain way. Now, what if she goes to her friends and say, Aaron's throwing chips at me?
Mm-hmm.
She would never say Aaron throwing chips. She would say Aaron is throwing things at me. And leave it ambiguous like that.
And that's not what happened. And then now Aaron got the film stuff in order not to be accused of behaviors that she's saying. That is not what happened. And for me, for someone to flippantly say something like that, that tells me you're going to create a story and you're going to run with that story and you're going to try and trash my character and my behavior. And that's where I was done with Angelica. And I was like, if Aaron and Angelica get married, I wish them well. I would have congratulated them. But all I was doing is wiping my brow and say, Aaron, let her leave. Don't ask for no explanation. You dodged a good one. Yes, Felicia, the whole bowl.
If it wasn't for her friends, at one point in time, I was questioning, like, okay, I need to meet some of these exes because I don't know if what you're saying is even true about them. But because her friends kind of backed up what she had been saying about some of her ex situations and stuff, I went, that's when I came to the conclusion. I went, oh, okay, no, she's dating these certain type of dudes for a particular reason, and it's not because she's really attracted to them, this and that third. It's all fake as hell. It's because, like somebody said earlier, she always wants to keep the upper hand in a relationship. That's all it is.
Okay.
She's an undercover narcissist.
And for me, until I see the exes, and until I see
that might be too
until
much.
I see the exes, and until I see evidence to that, I don't want to say that. So that's why I'm like sticking to the whole she's actually attracted to them, because it's like I just can't get on board with that.
I want to see the behavior at the reunion.
Listen, you know what? Nah. Imagine the worst, the craziest might happen, and Roja go scoop up what she left. Can you imagine what type of chaos she want to throw in?
I hope she does, just so we can see. That might be my toxic side coming out. Just like I hope so.
Everybody toxic side coming out now.
I do hope so, because we were all saying that. Aaron's eyes were looking, but he wasn't saying anything. But
I don't think he would. I don't think he would do that, because he actually is cool with Lars-Erik, so he's not gonna.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I don't think he's
unless he talk. Aaron's the type of dude. Not saying that he wouldn't, but he's the type of dude. He's gonna be like, you know what? Let me go holler at Lars-Erik behind the scene real quick. Hey, bro, she coming at me. You cool? You cool with me? Mm-hmm.
Trey, Love is Blind Italy. Remember, Ludovica was with Davide. Davide and Nicola are great friends. They're doing social media after the fact that now Nicola and Ludovica are a couple. So don't say
that's Italy. We're talking about Sweden. And their sensibilities. And the type of man that Aaron has come off to be. What I'm saying is, if that were to happen, I personally think he would have a conversation with Lars-Erik first. Yeah. Before anything would go down.
I mean, yeah, because I think Ronja will definitely try to holler at him, but like Trey said, he's gonna go to Lars-Erik behind the scenes and be like, can I at least entertain her for X amount of time? Like, at the very least,
gotta go to Lars-Erik. He wasn't hitting it. I mean, really?
No. Talk to him? It's about respect situation. It ain't about the chaos you want to ensue right now, Miss Elsa. It ain't about the chaos. It's respect of the situation.
I respect the fact that I waited till y'all were broken up before I pushed on it.
In a perfect world, this is how it would go. He'd go have a conversation with Lars-Erik. Hey, man, me and Angelica didn't work out, but Roger's been kind of giving me energy. I want to talk to you about how you feel about this and that third. He gonna feel away, like, dang, that's crazy.
That's the last woman. I thought that was the last woman I was ever gonna kiss.
All that stuff. And then if I was Aaron, I'd be like, you know what, bro? You deserve happiness. How about you move on? Did you give the net a call?
Maybe that's the wickedness I want.
Maybe you should, maybe you should try to check that out. Maybe you should try to check that out, bro. If I was Aaron, I'm pushing him into that, distract him by pushing him into that, hey, I think she was a better match for you anyway.
She was.
It seemed like she was giving you energy when y'all met up at the party, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe maybe you should try to see how that go. And maybe now this is my diabolical toxicness maybe coming out when I say this. You know what, bro? When you talk to her, maybe you should explain to her how Rosa treated you at the end there. Her disrespect for your faith, bro.
That's the dark arts of it all. And then you go wait till after he dates Danette. He goes on a date with Danette, and then you go date
Ronja. No. I'm sorry to say this. But since we're going dark arts right there, you don't date Ronja. You knock Ronja off.
On that note, here are all the couples, and we don't know what Trey's sipping on, but we do appreciate it tonight. These are the couples. As y'all see, Aniela and Ibrahim are the only ones that got married. Everybody, 63 or 64% of you think they are still married by the reunion. Y'all, I will be doing a live reunion watch whatever night the reunion is on. It has not been disclosed yet, which has me panicking. But no matter what day, sometimes Sweden will do it the following Sunday. Not today, but the following Sunday after where it would have shown. But that's in the past. We will be keeping an eye out. I will have a post up. I'll let y'all know, and we will watch it live together. You watch it on your TV. I watch it on mine. And then whatever day, I will set up a live for us to go over the reunion. So 64% of you think that Ibrahim and Aniela are still together. Now let's go down the line. Lars-Erik and Ronja, do you think Lars-Erik went and scoped out Danette, or did they try to date outside the experiment? Don't all charge in at once. Did Danette even answer his call?
I'm hoping they did.
Okay. Find love where you can. Find love where you can.
Win Danette, win. Take the win.
The logical part of me is like, don't try to go back around, Lars-Erik, please. Because like I brought up, like in a previous live, they sort of trauma bonded over the religion thing. So that's why I don't really want them to be, because he made his choice with Ronja. So I'm like, please don't go back.
Look at Zach Bliss.
You know how I feel about that, but a small part of me is a little toxic and like wanting them to like try it out or something. But most of me is like, please don't do it.
So we know ain't no way Johanna giving Daniel any kind of lead way. Do you think Daniel hit up Ellen? Because he said that's more.
Hell yeah. More than likely, I put money. I'll put money on that. Like, I think he hit her up because, like, he was excited when he saw her at the engagement party or whatever it was. So,
and Aaron and Angelica, do you think Aaron was? Do you think Ronja let Aaron know that she's interested, and did Aaron give it a look-see?
I wouldn't be surprised if Ronja tried to holler at him.
Okay, she done kissed the cardboard cutout face.
But I do want to kind of say real quick, because I didn't say it earlier, but why did they have that man in that tiny ass car when they drove up to the venue for the wedding? I was like, that
was so funny. That was messed up, man. That was messed up.
That looked like a clown car, and it was like, why are you having that tiny car? Like, get him out that car.
He was struggling to get out of that car. I was like, come on, man. You know what? They did it because of that joke that Angelica made. Oh, I have to get a bigger car.
I need a bigger car.
I need a bigger car. I need a bigger place. I'm like, okay.
You're more likely right, but I didn't think about that. But I was like, oh.
How many of those cars can fit a 6'8" frame?
Not many.
Which is why I was like,
why he was in the back. He was in the
back. He has to be in the back. He's being driven.
That's what made it worse. I was like,
he should have rolled up in the carriage like
Annie.
Yeah, that's why I was like you couldn't have done that or something. I
need a carriage ride, sir. I need a carriage ride.
So anyway, Sweden, just give me the horse. This is a record, okay? Sweden, first season, we had 2 weddings. Second season, we had 3 weddings. And now we only have 1 with a whole lot of drama. Sweden is still near and dear to me. I still really like Sweden. I love learning about the culture and more about the people. I am on TikTok. Y'all see my TikTok handle there. A lot of the Swedish folks are YouTube and TikTok. And I love interacting. And as I reply, Google translates it for me. I reply in their native language. And I also give a reply in English. So the English-speaking folks kind of know what was said. But other than that, until we know when the reunion is, people, I can't tell you when we'll be back, but we will be back here on a Sunday at 5 p.m. EST after the reunion, unless the reunion is at like 9 p.m. on a Sunday. But maybe the reunion, the last time it was in Swedish time at night, which was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for us. So we shall see what's going on. I dislike not having a plan. Okay. That I'm like Angelica. But please check out the other content here. Whatever the next Love is Blind, we know that Poland is in May. We know Love is Blind Poland is in May. Please look at my posts. I have the schedules, and once I have announcements, I will let you guys know. I travel, Love is Blind around the world, and Habibi is supposed to be coming up. South Africa is later on this year. We know UK is usually in the summer. Italy just got greenlit for the second season. We know Argentina got relit for the second season. Again, there's a lot of different versions of Love is Blind that is here. But I'm also covering Married at First Sight Australia. The last week is this week. And also, starting Tuesday, Trey and I are covering Game of Thrones from season 1. So if you have not seen Game of Thrones, or you've seen it and don't understand what the heck is this universe and how all these things, Dance of the Dragons and Night of the Seven Kingdoms, how does all these fantasy pieces come together? We got your answers for you. We just did Dune, parts 1 and 2. Please get into it. We give you all a whole bunch of good information. But we're starting all over from season 1 of Game of Thrones. It may take us one episode or one evening to do it, or maybe 2. But that was when Game of Thrones was at its best, at its peak, and when we really loved it. But I want to thank Ari and Trey. Thank you all so much for being here with me through Sweden. We will get to reunion when we can. But I want to thank you all and thank everyone. Please hit the like button one good time. One good time, okay? One good time. I'm sorry, I just saw y'all welcome, and I just want to go back through. Thank you, Rosho, for contributing to the channel. Welcome on in, 404 JT. You are a new member. And thank you, Cheryl, for reminding us that we're all a little touched. That's going to be my new motto around here. We're all a little touched.
Maybe I need to make that my tagline, the white part underneath the names, like we're all a little touched, so that we can be reminded that every single week.
Right, we are. And I thank you all so much for being here. And as I always say, I'll see you on the next one.